The night shift at St. Mary's Hospital always seemed longer than the day, but tonight felt endless. The fluorescent lights hummed softly above the empty corridor, and the smell of antiseptic clung to the air like an unwelcome guest. Emily Parker, a 27-year-old nurse, leaned against the counter in the nurse's station, rubbing her temples. She had been on her feet for nearly 12 hours, running between patients, taking vitals, and offering tired smiles to families that clung to hope. But when she finally sat down for a moment, the weight of her reality pressed down harder than any long shift ever could. A crumpled envelope peeked out of her bag, her overdue electricity bill. Her phone buzzed with a reminder, Mom's medication refill due tomorrow. Emily sighed. Her mother had been battling a chronic illness for years, and with her father gone, every responsibility fell on Emily's shoulders. She worked double shifts just to keep them afloat, but it always felt like trying to fill a bucket full of holes. Still, she whispered to herself, keep going. Someone out there has it worse. You just keep going. Her words were barely audible, but they carried the strength of someone who refused to give up, no matter how heavy life became. The quiet was suddenly shattered by the shrill sound of the ER alarm. Emily jumped to her feet. Car accident victim coming in, male, mid-40s, massive blood loss. The intercom blared. The doors burst open, and paramedics wheeled in a man whose face was pale, almost lifeless. Blood stained his shirt, and the heart monitor beeped erratically. Doctors and nurses rushed to his side, shouting instructions over one another. BP is dropping fast. He's lost too much blood. We need typo negative now. Emily's heart raced. She knew the hospital's blood bank had been dangerously low for weeks. When the doctor confirmed it, we're out of his type. A suffocating silence fell. Without thinking, Emily stepped forward. I'm O negative, she said, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. Take mine right now. The doctor hesitated. Emily, you just finished a double shift. You haven't eaten, you would do it. Emily cut him off. He won't last another 10 minutes without it. The team moved quickly. Within moments, Emily was in a chair, the needle piercing her arm. She winced but clenched her fists, keeping her eyes on the man who fought for his life. As her blood flowed through the tube, Emily felt lightheaded. Every drop leaving her body reminded her of her own fragility, her debts, her exhaustion, her constant battles. But none of that mattered in this moment. She reached out instinctively, placing her free hand on the man's cold, trembling one. You're going to make it, she whispered, as if sheer willpower could anchor him to life. Don't give up. Somebody out there is waiting for you. The minutes dragged on. Emily's vision blurred, and she fought the dizziness creeping over her. A fellow nurse pressed a juice box into her free hand, urging her to sip. But Emily refused to let go of the patient's hand until the transfusion stabilized his vitals. Finally, the heart monitor began to slow into a steadier rhythm. Relief swept across the room as the doctor announced, We've got him. He's stable, for now. Emily closed her eyes, tears pooling as exhaustion consumed her. She didn't even know his name, but she knew she had given him a fighting chance. That was enough. 2 days later, Emily dragged herself into work again, running on little sleep and too much coffee. Her supervisor called her into the office. Emily's stomach knotted. She worried it might be about her hours, maybe even a warning for overworking herself. But when she stepped inside, she froze. There he was, the man she had donated blood to. He sat upright, alive, his face no longer ghostly but warm with gratitude. His eyes lit up the moment they met hers. You, he said softly, his voice cracking, you're the one who saved me. Emily flushed, embarrassed. I just did my job. Any nurse would have. No, he interrupted gently. You gave more than your job. You gave a part of yourself, even when you had nothing to spare. The doctor standing nearby smiled. Emily, meet Mr. James Carter. He's not only our patient, he's also a philanthropist and a major supporter of this hospital. Emily blinked, stunned. She had thought he was just another anonymous patient. Instead, he was a man whose name carried weight, whose influence reached far beyond this building. James stood, still weak but determined. He walked toward her and clasped her hands in his. I owe you my life, and I intend to repay that debt. Emily didn't fully understand what he meant until the next morning. She returned home after her shift to find her mother smiling through tears, clutching a letter. Emily, her mother whispered, they paid for my treatments. All of them, and look, your nursing school loan, it's gone. Emily's eyes widened in disbelief. She sank onto the couch, shaking. Inside the envelope was a handwritten note. Dear Emily, you gave me life without knowing who I was. You showed me the purest form of humanity, kindness with no strings attached. Please allow me to give you back the freedom you deserve. James Carter. Emily's tears fell freely, the crushing weight she had carried for years. Her debts, her mother's illness, the endless struggle, suddenly lifted. Weeks later, Emily continued her work at the hospital, still the same humble nurse, still offering tired smiles and gentle hands. But now, she carried something more, hope. She never sought recognition or reward, but life had a way of returning kindness when least expected. Sometimes, the smallest act of compassion can change everything. Emily gave her blood to save a stranger, never knowing he would become the answer to her silent prayers. It reminds us all, when we give selflessly, life has a way of giving back in the most extraordinary ways.